Hello, Facebook people. I saw an article, a Facebook post about one lady singing in Igbo language, just of recent. I've been wanting to get this off my chest since, but time won't allow me. So I was like, let me just quickly address this issue. I know my husband will say I should sit down properly, make a proper video, arrange my wedding, but that's just not me most times. So I saw the video and the comments, they were really irritating. For me, they were really irritating. You saw people, they were like, oh, you see white women, they're even more Igbo than black women. Huh? What? Hold on. How do you call the copy more original than the original? How? So is it now that you're referring to Techno from China as the original iPhone only because it has 2 cameras, or it has dual SIM and the iPhone doesn't have? If you want to make comparison, do a proper one. How can you praise a white woman for what your sisters, cousins, mothers, aunties, grandmothers have been doing for decades without getting credit for it? You know, as a white woman now, of course you can hear my accent, so it's not that I sat down and practiced Nigerian accent. The point is, Germany is my first language, my mother tongue. In Germany, we are not exposed to speaking English apart from school. You learn some few words, you know, you learn to communicate a bit. But when I really started speaking English was when I met my husband, because of course he did not speak German. So it was easier for me to cope with the little English I was able to speak instead of for him to learn German afresh. So he learned German, of course. Now he's very fluent in German. He is fluent in German. Like I speak English, this is how he speaks German. And German is damn hard. It's a hard language. Nobody ever gave him credit for that. Nobody posted his video. He can sing German songs better than I can ever sing any Igbo song. But nobody ever recorded him and be like, oh, this brother loves Germany so much. His German is so good. But let one Igbo woman say, Kedu, and everybody, they will come and lose their mind. Let them come and say, and they will go to the market, Egole, and the first thing they will say, Igbo, Onyocha, you speak English, you speak Igbo. Ntakiri. I can't even speak a full perfect sentence in Igbo. Having a full conversation in Igbo, I cannot, because it's very, very hard. In Germany, I'm only exposed to the Igbo my husband speaks with our children. Things like Banyoko or Lotonala, or even my pronunciation is not right. So that's why I dare not speak Igbo to my children. Even those words I know, I will never speak Igbo to my children because it's not right. It's not my language. English is not my language, but I'm fluent in English because I studied English in school. So I speak English to my children. So they will learn everything. They grow up with 3 languages because that's the right thing to do. But for God's sake, for God's sake, people, you should stop praising white women for what black women have been doing for 2000 before Christ. I cannot. If I come and say it now, people will say, hey, you're only jealous because you can't speak Igbo, you can't speak Lingala, you can't speak Yoruba, you can't speak. I am not jealous. I am proud of every sister that will go and speak her husband's language, unlike those ones that be forming pidgin up and down. They will come and put themselves in Facebook and be like, I sabi pidgin, I sabi this, I sabi that. Shut up. It's not like that. You don't come and appropriate another person's culture and start feeling like you're the one that invented it. You did not. We come in our husband's countries, and if everything goes well, like in my case, praise God, I love my family. Like the Chilakas, I know some of you will be watching this. I love you people, you know. My love for my family is you can't even put it in words. Because that's not because it's not because it's supposed to be like that. Of course it's supposed to be like that, but mainly because how I was accepted. You know, it was when I came to Nigeria, and of course I was scared, you know, like, not that I was afraid, but I was scared of meeting people I don't know. Oh, my hair is on fleek. I was scared about meeting people I don't know. My husband's family, for that matter, not just random people that mean the world to him, you know, that raised him, that grew up with him. So if they don't like you, it's always going to be difficult in your marriage. So unfortunately, in my case, fortunately, in my case, talk about English, right? Fortunately, in my case, it went very well. I'm very, very close to his family. Like, when I go to Nigeria, I go to Nigeria alone. So I stay with his brothers. It got to an extent that somebody told my husband, why does your wife stay with your brothers? Are you not scared? My husband was like, scared, as in, like, okay, they are single. Then they were still single. So what if something happens? Can you just imagine that kind of nonsense? Like, to me, they are like my brothers. Like, I don't even attach the in-law to it because I feel it just brings an unnecessary gap. There's no gap. So for me, they are like my brothers. If I have concern, or if I'm bothered about something that, you know, you need someone to talk to, I can call them on the phone. Even if it's 3 o'clock in the night, I will call them and they will respond. They will always pick the phone because they know I can't be calling them in the middle of the night for no reason. So it's all about how you get accepted. That plays a big role in how you accept your husband's culture. So, but things that are supposed to be done in one way or the other is, if two people come together from different cultural backgrounds, you have to find a middle way, especially if you have children, because you can't be raising them only Igbo when I'm not Igbo. How am I going to do that? I can't. And you can't be raising them only German because it's the same thing. It's not right, you know. So you have to find a middle way. And if you happen to find that middle way, some white women along the line, they lose themselves. They will start acting like there's one white woman like that. She's calling herself Wanyocha. She can go to an extent of teaching or wanting to teach an Igbo person about their own culture. How? If my husband will sit down now and start telling Germans, oh, the way you cook your German food is not right, you're supposed to do it the other way around, they will ask if he's mad. Have you lost your mind? This is not your culture, it's not your food. How can you be teaching somebody else their own, what they grew up with? But in white women's case, we do that all the time. All the time. They will go to Nigeria, they come and buy wrapper. They come here and sell it for like 20,000. Wrapper, ordinary wrapper, making money on another person's culture, with another person's culture. It's not right. And the praising of white women, I do understand that. I know it has a lot to do with the after effects of colonization and slavery, because white people force themselves as the standard all over the world. It doesn't matter if it's Africa or it's the Western world, or it's America or Asia. In Asia, where they are white, but they are still bleaching themselves. So the problem runs deeper than just appreciation. Appreciation is fine. I understand that when I go to the village and I sit down and I start grinding my pepper in the mortar, I can understand that it looks funny to a 90-year-old woman that has never seen a white person in real life. No problem about that. But the way it is being taken by Africans as if it's something special. Do you know there are black people here, they study German, they study German law, they know the law better than me. I have grown up in this country, I was born and raised here, and they will sit me down and tell me this is the law in your own country. They were not born here, they were not brought up here. They came back maybe at 12, 13. A friend of mine, she's from Togo, Queen B, I see you. Her name is Beryl. She's going to be a teacher here. She was not born and she was not bred in Germany. She came back here later on. She's studying to be a teacher here. And in Germany, if you study a teacher, you do like, it's not easy for you to be a teacher and a black one in that racism that is still runs through all social positions in Germany. If you happen to go that way, or becoming a doctor, a lawyer, and you're black, you will always have to justify yourself. You always have to explain yourself. Oh, you speak German so well, you know. How many times she got asked these questions? She came here, I think, when she was 5 or 6. Of course, she speaks German well, you know. So her German is better than my own in some cases. So, but nobody will come and give her credit for that. Nobody will sit her down and be like, oh, I'm so proud of you for speaking German. No, they know it's necessary. They know she has to speak German for her to be here and make a living here. But if I do the same thing, people will be like, oh, she speaks Igbo fluently. 2 words of Igbo and I'm speaking Igbo fluently. It's not like that. My Igbo is not fluent. I wish it would be, but it's not. And it's not that I'm doing it to get recognition. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I'm married to an Igbo man. I'm married to an Igbo family. I was taken in, notwithstanding, I don't know the culture. I don't know the language. I don't know the history. People took me in. They made me their own. When I go to Nigeria without my husband, I will be picked by the airport by my brothers. I will stay with them. If I want to go anywhere, they will treat me exactly the same way they would treat their blood sister. So why wouldn't I do the most necessary thing about learning what they are? Because culture is identity. So if you learn another person's culture, and moreover, how am I going to raise my children to be proud and black if I don't know about their culture? So learning and appropriating are two different pieces, two different pairs of shoes. And white people tend to appropriate culture instead of learning culture. We have that natural something that we sit and listen to reply. We don't listen to understand, you know. We are and you throw one reply like that without even thinking what the person says. If you have a black person sitting with you and he's like, man, this racism in this country is killing me, you start feeling offended. Why are you offended? Because there's racism here in every angle of the country. You're not supposed to be offended. You're supposed to listen. And you're supposed to protect that person, because we enjoy privileges as white people that we can never be a victim of racism. So instead of for us to use these privileges appropriately, no, wrong word, accordingly, English, accordingly, and make it a better world for our black brothers and sisters out there that are suffering because of what people like me did to them and their ancestors, and are still doing to my children. Even though they have a white mother, they are still suffering from racism. We are here feeling all oh, but I'm not racist. My cousin's third neighbor is black. My co-worker is black. I cannot be racist. I've seen white women with black children, they were racist. I've seen white women sleeping with black men, they were racist. It's not like that. You don't get to pass as non-racist or as woke or conscious or whatever you want to call it just because you happen to mingle with black people. It's not like that. You have to listen to their struggle, because if we don't listen and don't stand up, you're just as guilty as the policeman shooting an unarmed 13-year-old teenager. Silence is what allowed the Holocaust to happen. Silence is what allowed the African Holocaust, the African genocide in Namibia, in South Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria. Name it, name it. Silence is what allowed it to happen. Silence is what made invaders, made their way into the motherland, because there was silence. We were cowards, and we are still cowards up till tomorrow, because if you walk along this road now and you see a black man being harassed, you see 20 white people passing by, that man might come and die on the road here because he was beaten up, and nobody will come and raise their voices. I've been assaulted. I've been assaulted for having a black man and black children, not to talk of someone that is actually black, you know. So we have, the gap is so much. We have racist white people, and then we have white people that actually they love their husband's culture, but in a wrong way. You don't get to appropriate your, my phone rang, only because you are married to an Igbo man doesn't make you an Igbo woman. I'm not an Igbo woman. I don't want to be addressed as an Igbo woman. I am not an Igbo woman, and I don't know Igbo culture better than the original woman. I go to Nigeria, I learn. My Igbo sisters, my husband's cousins, they sit me down and tell me, Nicole, this is how you do it. This is how you back your baby. This is how you cook okra soup. This is how you go to the market and ask egole. This is how you tell them this and this and that. If I don't know, if I'm not taught, how will I? So to cut the long story short, stop appreciating white women for what black women taught us is not the right thing to do. So Chizaram is hungry. Thank you everybody for listening. I will go to the comments later. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much everybody that listened to me. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, and on to the next one then.